Welcome to Scrolling to Death. We are back, Nikki and Titania. Today, these might be my favorite interviews when I have Titania here. But today I want to do something a little different. And I realized a lot of parents are asking me, like, is this platform safe? Is that platform safe? Can you do an episode on this? I eventually, hopefully, will have an episode on every platform, but things change so much too. So I figured it would be helpful to do an app review video where we look at 10 of the most popular apps for kids and give our honest opinions on them. I did get some input from parents on Instagram on this one. Hopefully we'll cover the app that you suggested, but if we don't, you can go to bark.us, and Bark has app reviews on what? Hundreds, thousands of apps?
Like
all the apps?
Yeah. If kids are on them, we've reviewed them.
Right. Okay. So please go there if we don't cover it here for additional information. Are you ready, Titania?
I'm ready. What is our first app that we're going to talk through?
We're going to talk about Spotify first, which is a digital music, podcast, and video service where you can access songs and podcasts. They did more recently roll out video content. And so I want to share first that Spotify is slowly turning into a bit more of a social media platform with the video feeds, and they've added comment functionality. Wired actually released an article recently that said, Spotify, stop trying to become a social media app. So with this additional content and commentary, there may be some concerns now that there weren't before. So why don't you tell me, Titania, what do you feel about Spotify as an app that may or may not be appropriate for kids?
Yeah, this is a hard one because as a child who wasn't really allowed to watch TV growing up, like music was one of the really only outlets I had to pop culture, entertainment, and it wasn't all safe, right? Safe meaning, whatever you decide you want your family to be exposed to. It's different between families. But my extremely conservative Christian upbringing, for some reason, still allowed me to listen to like hard rock. And like, there's definitely some themes in hard rock 80s music that like isn't, so all that to say is there's some balance we need to keep in mind. However, if you want to ensure that your child does not encounter anything problematic, I would say Spotify is not safe. It's a music streaming service, right? And so when you think about the lyrics in a variety of genres of music, let's take rap music, for example, or pop music, like there tend to be more drug references, references to sexual experiences and content, curse words, etc. So it's inherently, a landmine if you don't want your kid to encounter that sort of thing. It also continues to expand in its offerings. You can search inside of Spotify just like you can in Google. And so if you type suicide into the Spotify search bar, you'll get a bunch of songs about it, which might not be great for a child that is struggling with their mental health. Spotify has pornographic and sexual content in its library. There is an explicit content filter, so good, but it has to be toggled on, and there's no passcode protection of it. So, you can turn it on, but then your kid can just turn it off. So,
and is it catching everything? Because there's always hosts of whatever content or people that put out content are getting around those kind of filters. And I continue to surprise people when I share that there's pornography on Spotify, with the fact that Pornhub has its own feed with sexual sounds and videos, even TikToks on Spotify. So there was a feed I found that said 10 TikToks your parents don't want you to see. So there's more, and there's probably a ton more stuff that we haven't even found yet. So, but regarding inappropriate TikTok videos to pornography to inappropriate language or violence, there's a lot there that it's not just music. It's not just music.
Spotify also has podcasts on it. It's not just music. So like you could have a whole you
can listen to my podcast on Spotify as an adult, but a lot of content that I talk about is not appropriate for children.
So there's that. I mean, good news is that Bark can analyze Spotify. So if you do want to let your child have some freedom and listen to music, Bark can alert you to both song titles and more, the lyrics, that sort of thing. But keep in mind, like if they're listening to Cardi B, you're going to be getting a lot of Bark alerts.
Yeah. Yeah.
So just FYI. And then just finally on Spotify, the Bark annual report, where we analyze, I think, over 5.6 billion data points across children's devices and accounts. Spotify came back as the top app that we flagged for hate speech related content across all of the apps. And again, if you think about the song lyrics and what people are saying to each other in those lyrics, it makes sense.
You have a 15-year-old, or is he 16 now?
15 and a half.
Okay.
Almost. Yeah.
So you say, would you let your 15-year-old, and I'll say, would I let my 8-year-old? Okay.
Yes, I would let my 15 and a half year old on Spotify. Would I let my 11, 12, or 13-year-old? No.
Right. And my oldest is almost 9, and she's not going on Spotify. So that's a no.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. We're going to stay with the S theme right now and go on to Snapchat, which
Sorry.
We've talked this one to death. We have a whole episode on, like, is Snapchat safe for kids? I have another episode called Snapchat is a Scam. I mean, this is a big, hard no, you guys. And I want to give a couple highlights as to why, because I know that it continues to be one of the most popular app for teens to communicate on, and parents just don't know about the threats there. So Snapchat is a social media platform that wants you to think that it's not. They want you to think it's a messaging app. They say they're the antidote to social media, which is like a big LOL.
Why?
So what just like stands out for you as the one or two things that are most harmful about Snapchat? Since I'm just going to assume that you're going to say it's harmful.
Well, yeah, I mean, because there isn't just one or two. That's the problem.
I know.
So, like,
I know.
In addition to the fact that it's one of the number one facilitators of CSAM, that's child sexual abuse material, meaning nudes. Kids under 18 sending nudes back and forth. It's against the law. It's happening on Snapchat. So besides the whole nudes problem, there's Snap Maps, which give your child's real-time live location to anyone they're connected to. There are drugs and drug dealers, and those drugs are deadly. One pill can kill. They're laced with fentanyl. Kids get them delivered, as you know, as you have covered extensively. That's not okay. There's nonstop friend drama. If you can see where all your friends are and you're not included, hello FOMO. There's My AI, essentially an incompletely informed chatbot. It has the ability to give really bad advice to your kid, and it's not dangerous. Like how to cover the smell of alcohol, not good for a middle schooler.
Right.
There's loads of inappropriate content through their entertainment hub. There's For My Eyes Only. It's like a vault app that's built into Snapchat, meant to hide things from parents. Like, it's just, there's nothing good from it. And I know every kid wants it. Every kid says that every other kid's on it, but more and more parents are saying no. And I would encourage every parent listening to continue that trend. Just say no. I wish I said no when my son asked for it.
Yeah, absolutely. And so you covered most of the things. I mean, there's predators sending dick pics to your child, trying to get your child to send them, trying to buy nude imagery from children. So the nudity aspect, I mean, any app that is built to be anonymous and have snaps or photos or videos disappear, there's going to be nefarious content and nefarious activity going on. Let alone the addictive features, the snap scores and streaks and all of that. The For You feed, which is a social media function, not a messaging function, but the For You feed, which has a feed of content from anywhere on Snapchat and any user. And I signed up as a 14-year-old girl and scrolled through this For You feed and came across videos in a strip club within like 5 minutes. So this is not an appropriate app for kids. They continue to roll out more and more harmful features and continue to prioritize profit over child safety. So it's a big, big no across the board for any age. I think adults shouldn't be on it either, just to support the fact that they harm children. As an adult, you're not going to get as much harmful content because they don't do that as much to adults. We're not as vulnerable. We don't fall for it as easy. But yeah, it's a no for me.
Big, big, big no.
Big no. Okay, now an app that is that is not as well known as the first couple, and that is CapCut. So CapCut is a video editing app, and kids use it to like edit videos, right? And I first heard about this. I was interviewing a mom whose 10-year-old had been involved in an inappropriate group chat. And one of the videos that she was sent was referencing murder. And that had been created in CapCut by another 10-year-old. So not a good first impression for me. And then I have a little bit more I've learned about CapCut since then. But what do you think about CapCut?
So at Bark, as you mentioned, we have these app reviews. We rated CapCut 2 out of 5. Definitely not for anybody under the age of 12, and honestly, older. You know, a lot of the videos that you see on TikTok and that are curated across other apps like Instagram and YouTube Shorts, etc., are made in CapCut. It's a very clever and engaging video creation app. You know, you can do a lot of cool things with little to no editing and hop on viral trends and stuff, which is great. However, a lot of harmful content, a lot of harmful content, predation, which wouldn't seem like it'd be obvious thing in a video editing app. But there's an indirect route that predators can take to get to your kid. And I won't outline it here because I don't want to make it even easier for those listening if they're not great people, but there's definitely ways for strangers to contact children in the app. You know, when it comes to a positive value, privacy, parental controls, there are none. So like if your kid is the next budding video editor, there are many other apps that are safer that they can use, like Video Shop, for example, great video editing app that doesn't have the downside of CapCut.
Okay, amazing. And I will point out that CapCut is owned by ByteDance, which also owns TikTok and is a Chinese-based company that is currently in legal battles with our U.S. government because the Chinese-based companies are influenced by the Chinese Communist Party. The Chinese Communist Party have golden shares in any Chinese-owned company and can force those companies to send out messages or influence their users. And so that's happening on TikTok. It's likely happening on CapCut as well. And they are very integrated. So just wanted to red flag there as well. So it's a no for me on CapCut. There's tons of other options like you mentioned.
Yes.
Next one to bring up, another C. Now we're going to talk about Candy Crush. And this is just, I think I want to talk about Candy Crush and other games that don't have chat, that are purely dumb fun, right? Like just a silly toy. So Candy Crush is a game that has over 250 million users every month. It's purely entertainment, like I said. What do you think about us letting our kids play games like Candy Crush? And I have thoughts as well.
All right, here we go. So again, what does Bark rate Candy Crush? 3 out of 5. So 1 star better than CapCut. But here's the thing. Any game that is fun and addictive, right? We don't need any more reasons to give our children to want to be in front of a screen. Candy Crush included. I always try to tell parents that if you're trying to think about screen time, it's less about quantity and more about quality. Candy Crush is not quality screen time. Right. Now, if your kid has the flu or if they're having a bad day and they just need to peace out for a little bit, I get it. And in limited spurts, everything in moderation, totally fine. But like, it is very easy to get sucked into anything, whether it's Candy Crush, Angry Birds, Temple Run, Cut the Rope, whatever. Yeah. And the more you're letting your kids' dopamine levels get spiked by that sort of interaction, it becomes very problematic. So I would say in limited quantities,
Yeah. Addictive is the right word. And I think so. Candy Crush, it exploits the well-known weaknesses in humans' brains to keep us playing, especially with younger kids whose brains are not fully developed. The reward schedules in games like that become more intermittent to keep you playing longer and longer. And we can see there's adults that play Candy Crush every single day, adults I know. And I'm like, why are you wasting your time on a game that's created for preschoolers? And it shows you the addiction and the addictiveness of games like that, and that it's taking you away, especially children. Let's just talk about kids, whatever. Adults can do whatever they want with their time, but it's taking them away from all the other healthier activities, all the other people in their life that they can be engaging with face to face, all the exercise, all the schoolwork, anything else. Choose anything else, in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, it's just that there's little positive value, little to none
Agree. And it's a solo activity. So there's games you can play together with them, right? And rather than choosing a game where it's just them and the screen and then no other humans involved.
Yeah. And, we are probably going to sound incredibly judgy on this podcast.
I know.
But
Disclaimer.
If you were to ask my parents when I was staying up till 1 a.m. playing Super Mario Brothers, how much value that had, they'd be like, none, zero. Do I have a lot of fun memories from it? Yes. So there is a balance here, right?
But those games weren't nearly as addictive. They were not nearly.
They were as addictive as a game could possibly be at the time. I remember, right? Because I was just one more, just one more,
yes,
just one more.
Totally.
Like I wasn't going to sleep.
Yeah.
But that's all we knew. It's even worse now. It's even more addictive now.
Yeah. Okay, so we're going to stay on the gaming theme for a couple more. Next, we're going to talk about games that have a lot more involved in them. So full gaming platforms that allow users to come together, really they're for socializing, chatting, and while you're playing, interacting with people while you're playing. And that would be Roblox, Minecraft, Fortnite.
So starting with Minecraft, it's recommended age 9 and up. We rate it 4 out of 5 stars at Bark. There's like a little bit of scary stuff in there.
Yeah.
Players can kill each other and animals, but it's pixelated imagery. So it's less aggressively portrayed than Call of Duty.
Yeah.
So players can also join multiplayer servers and play with strangers, which could introduce kids to inappropriate content and predators. So the risk is not nothing. Anytime, any game or app has a chat or direct message function, the opportunity for online predation exists. And Minecraft is no exception to this rule. So do kids love it? Yes. Is it really cool and a creative way for them to play online and build? Yeah. My son loved it. And I wasn't mad about him playing that game versus other games because I felt like he was the next budding architect or engineer. Like it was pretty cool. But we had so many conversations again about screen time, what it's doing to his brain, how it's making him sedentary, and we don't talk to strangers online.
Yeah. And so that chat feature, you got to leave it off as long as possible, whether it's on Minecraft, Roblox, Fortnite, any other games. But when you're ready to turn that on and let them play, say, and this is what I hear a lot, my son has cousins in another state and that they want to all play Fortnite together. And so I let them play together. So they're in a chat room while they're playing. Are you 100% sure they're not letting anyone else into that chat room? You can't be 100% sure unless you're literally standing next to them the whole time. And that's not realistic. So when that chat function or when you start letting them play with people that are not with them physically, you have to have lots of conversations because there are big time pedophile problems on these platforms. Bloomberg just released an article called Roblox has a pedophile problem. And so, yeah.
Ooh, I hate to be in the PR room right now.
I know. Yeah. And I did a video update on that and got like hundreds of thousands of views. And this is common. And I think one person said to my video, oh, the grass is green. We know this. Like people just assume that if you're on Roblox in an open chat, you're going to be contacted by a pedophile. So for me, no, thank you. I think also within these chats is a lot of bullying, a lot of bad language, right? So you have to think about that. Is your child going to be able to handle that? I've learned in my many conversations with gamers that kids are going to be told to go kill yourself on these games, especially when you start ramping up to Fortnite and other games that have more violence included.
Yes.
And so how is your child going to handle that?
These platforms have built-in filters. So, to their credit, they have really tried to redact any personally identifiable information and bad words and that sort of thing. But kids are creative. So instead of saying, go kill yourself, they'll say, go unalive yourself, right? And skirt the algorithm, further traumatizing your child. So just turn the chat off. Implement the parental controls that come with all of the gaming platforms. Keep them in common areas of the home. Please do not let your kid play these games in their bedroom behind closed doors.
Right.
Big problem there.
Yeah. So when deciding if your kid, if these games are appropriate for your kid, you have to review the content. Do you feel that it's appropriate? Don't just trust the age ratings. Actually play it yourself and review it. Also, turn off the chats at first and know that other people can access your child if you have the chats on, and continually check, because kids can turn it back on unless you set up. Some of them will have a parental pin you can add, which is important. But some parents don't do that. And then think about the addictiveness of the game. These games include never-ending play and rewards. They study kids' brains. They study gambling to know how to keep kids on there as long as possible. So keep an eye on your child. I mean, obviously set limits, but you want to watch for symptoms of addiction, like just an obsession with the game, fading interest in other activities. They're lying about their time spent gaming. If you're seeing withdrawal symptoms when it's
Are we
taken
talking
away.
about adults gambling right now or kids?
We're talking about kids gaming, and it's like a real syndrome, like addictive syndrome. And you only have to meet like 4 of these symptoms to be considered addicted to gaming. And so this is real, you guys. And I've talked to doctors who are insinuating that if you allow your child to become addicted, I mean, it really is a choice, to games or social media, all these things when they're young, they will or could develop addictions to other things more easily when they're older. And you don't want to, nobody wants to deal with that at all.
Nikki, why couldn't I have listened to this like 10 years ago?
I know.
Oh,
I think people say like they're going to game at some point, so we got to introduce it to them. Really? Are they? Do they have to? I don't think so. I don't think that every kid needs to game. I don't think that every boy needs to go into college being a gamer and have to balance schoolwork or whatever, their job and gaming. Like they're not usually very successful at that balance at those ages. And I don't know. For me, if you can create a common space where you play sometimes with your kid as a group activity, and it's so fun, and focus on games. They're like racing games and games that don't have inappropriate themes, and set time limits and do it as a group. I love that. But I just don't think it needs to be a solo activity that they're spending hours every day doing and giving them internet addiction or gaming addiction. I don't. I'm conservative when it comes to this, I guess.
You're smart. That's a soundbite right there. Put that out on the socials of like that difference between like group setting versus solo, because that's a mistake so many parents make. I made that mistake. Only child, wanted him to connect with others and be entertained. And I wish I could take it back.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on to, where did my Discord go? There it is. Let's talk about Discord. Now, so a lot of those gaming apps, they have their own chat areas, but then gamers will often also, or instead of, use Discord to communicate while they're gaming. And it's adding more functionality. Amazon Music just recently partnered with Discord to offer like listening parties. So it's really expanding, but there are tons of predators on Discord. They know there's children there and they target them there. They're not doing a great job at keeping kids safe. The Discord CEO in front of Congress publicly denied supporting online safety legislation that would protect children. There's lots of stories of kids getting groomed, being forced to self-harm on Discord, groups on Discord that are sharing child sexual abuse material. It's not a great platform. And I think if you want your kid to chat there, or if they want to chat there and you can keep that chat locked in to only people that they know in real life, then that could be an option, but it's hard to control it.
I mean, we at Bark do not recommend children access Discord until at least 15 or 16.
Yeah.
Truly, for a variety of reasons. They do have some recently released parental controls, but still, when they rolled them out, they didn't release a way to lock the settings, like with a PIN code.
Which really?
Yeah. So it's like,
it's so stupid.
It's, again, rated very high for predation. There's more than 190 million people of all ages using Discord every month. You can guarantee a certain percentage of those are people that are only there because they know kids are there. Yeah. And not only that, because there's more than 19 million different servers on Discord, there's a lot of not safe for work content there. And not just sexual content, but servers discussing violence and conspiracy theories and it's the internet. Yeah. So Discord is not just a messaging app because the chat rooms that children can join feature not only text, but voice and video chat. And that's problematic.
Yeah, 100%. Okay. It's a no. No for me.
Yeah, it's a no. TLDR, it's a no.
Okay, so let's talk about WhatsApp, which is an encrypted messaging app which means all messages sent and received are not visible to anyone outside of the conversation. Obviously, this is dangerous for children because predators, they'll target kids on social media, Discord, and then they'll move the conversation onto an encrypted app like WhatsApp, where the conversation can't be tracked. So I will say, someone made the point the other day that on WhatsApp itself, you're not going to it's not easy to like find strangers or have your kid get targeted just by being on WhatsApp. You need to know their phone number or contact info. But if your kid has WhatsApp, they can be taken from, right, like I said, another app and brought over to WhatsApp on purpose to hide predation. Those are my initial thoughts around WhatsApp. What do you feel about kids using WhatsApp?
If I were to say curse words, what I wanted to do was yell a big fat curse word, basically saying no.
Yeah. F no?
F no.
You're right.
To
Okay.
WhatsApp. Okay. Yeah. Big F no.
Yeah.
Ask David Erb what he thinks about WhatsApp, right?
Yeah.
That's a little nugget for those of you who are scrolling to death fans and listen to every episode. You'll understand why. But essentially, there is no need for a child to be on an end-to-end encrypted messaging app with an asterisk. If you have loved ones in another country, let's say grandma is over in Italy and you're in the US and the only way that y'all can text is through WhatsApp, I get it, but it needs to be highly supervised. Because WhatsApp is end-to-end encrypted, there's no monitoring solution that can attach to it and analyze it for dangers. So you need to be in the same room as your child when they're using WhatsApp to communicate with trusted, known friends and family who are not able to be communicated with by any other technical means. Also, WhatsApp has, hidden features. You can hide chats, you can lock things. Like it's a lot like Snapchat, honestly, and the rabbit holes you can go down. And it's not just text based. You can voice call and you can video chat. So anybody that can convince your child to move to WhatsApp for communications does not have the best intentions for your child.
Right. And if, as an adult, you might want to use an encrypted platform to have a private conversation, whatever. That's your choice. But it's not safe for kids to be using encrypted apps, especially communicating between a child and an adult. Never, ever.
No. And WhatsApp also has a feature called channels, which is like Snapchat's Discover page. It's a one-way broadcast.
It does?
Yes.
No.
Yeah. Oh, basically, I mean, Nikki, you know this. Every app is becoming like every other app. You recently posted about how Instagram is wanting to launch like a, Find My Friends feature, Snap app, essentially copycat. Like, no, just no.
Okay. It gets worse and worse. Like, it's not like they're trying to make it safer. They're trying to sneak in new functionality that's additionally harmful to your child. Yeah,
they don't want you to move to another app to use things that you could just use in their app. So they're going to keep rolling out these features to keep you in their app.
God, greedy. Okay. And so to confirm, for Bark monitoring, I assume we cannot monitor encrypted apps with any parental monitoring.
Bark can monitor chats on WhatsApp, which is great.
Yeah.
But again, would you rather get an alert that your child has been the victim of grooming, or would you rather just not have them be exposed to it in the first place?
I know.
So
I know. Okay. Let's talk about YouTube. And I got this one a lot from parents who were, YouTube seems like a fun video app with cool videos that would just be entertaining for your child. I just want to highlight like addictiveness, never ending scroll as far as like it just autoplay, like keeps playing, doesn't give your child a chance to stop. And there really is something to be said about a video ending or something interrupting you as you're using your phone. I have that feature on my phone that tells me when it's too close to my face. And you have to back it up and wait and then push a button. I swear to God, I put my phone down every single time that pops up. There's something about that interruption that is important. But anyway, the addictiveness of YouTube is very concerning. Also, the content is user generated. It's not created by the platform like, say, Netflix or Disney Plus that has a rating and they created it. Like producers and actors created it. We can pretty much count on knowing that it's going to match the content rating. These are user generated videos who are just they themselves, a human being, saying this is appropriate for this age. And you hope that YouTube's filters are going to monitor or filter through correctly. But what's happening is on YouTube, kids are seeing deadly challenge videos. Kids are seeing live suicides and live murders and really inappropriate war content, dead babies from war, like just horrible things. And I know that I'm talking about like the worst of the worst, but what do you have for thoughts about YouTube generally for kids?
So definitely no to YouTube for kids. Now there is YouTube Kids. It's better, but that requires that you be logged into an account that you have toggled it to be YouTube Kids, which we all know that you can just pull up any smart TV remote and say, YouTube and not have to sign in and see everything. And just to help people understand, like when you go to upload a video to regular YouTube, they'll ask you, is this meant for kids? And so you have to be that deciding factor to say like, yes or no. That level of self-policing isn't going to cut it when you're trying to keep your kids safer online. So YouTube, very addictive, but also a really great resource for education if you want to learn something, right? So let your kid only use regular YouTube if you are beside them and you guys can look up, why do frogs make the sound they do or something, not harmful.
Yeah.
And once that video ends, you stop. You don't let it feed you those suggested videos that you keep clicking on, right?
Yeah. And there's so many alternatives. Like, don't choose the never-ending scroll of videos that are created by people you don't know. Don't choose it. And I know so many families now whose child did use YouTube a lot because they would do woodworking or they would look up how to lure their fishing pole or whatever. I don't know. But like they were looking up things that would help them use their hands. And that was great. But then they came across the choking challenge video, tried it and died. Like this is not, I'm being real that this happens to families like yours and mine, whose kids intend to use it one way. And then they get served something that they didn't search for that can cause them to harm themselves.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I really want to convey is that when you're dealing with an algorithmic based social media platform, you can go into it with the most innocent of intentions to learn or connect, and then unfortunately be fed things that are negative, untrue, and harmful. The amount of times children have gone to YouTube to just look up something, but then be harmed are innumerable. And, this has happened in my own home, and I've had to work hard to reverse just certain misinformation, like, telling my son, like, just because this guy was really good with video editing and voiced over and animation doesn't mean that his account of this situation is true.
Right. I want to talk about YouTube Kids really quickly, though, in my highlights, because I did a full episode on this. So you can go watch it. But a quarter of the videos watched by kids 8 and under on YouTube Kids are actually intended for older target audiences. Most are violent. Inappropriate videos do make it past the algorithm. 6% of videos on YouTube Kids include mild or moderate sexual content. One study found if you think your kid's going on there and seeing educational content, no, only 4% of videos on YouTube Kids have high educational value. The longer kids watch low quality media like that on YouTube, the higher their rate of poor impulse control and self-regulation, plus poor language development. And also 95% of videos on YouTube Kids have ads, and half of those ads have been found to be for sugary food and drinks and not appropriate for that age group. So you can't count on YouTube Kids to be appropriate. Oh, this is what I wanted to say, that YouTube really relies on user feedback. So they want you to be reporting and giving them feedback if something is inappropriate. Who really does that? I don't know, but I want to encourage parents that if their kids are on YouTube or YouTube Kids, flag videos, report them if they're inappropriate. It's not going to help the grand scheme, but that's what YouTube relies on more than their content moderators, is us giving them feedback on the videos. So if you're going to let your kids use YouTube, try to turn off autoplay, turn on all the parental controls, report inappropriate videos. You can also pay for YouTube Premium to remove ads, but I think it's kind of pricey. So those are my thoughts on YouTube. My kids don't use it.
There you
go. Okay. So Telegram. Telegram is a free messaging app. I want to say this is going to be similar to our thoughts on WhatsApp, right? But Telegram itself says it's for 16 plus or 17 plus. I saw both. It includes dangerous features like secret chats, self-destructing messages. You can search by username, find strangers, unmoderated private groups. There's video chat. There's pornography. So unsafe for users that are young or unsafe for teens. Telegram, I am assuming, is a 1 out of 5 on your list.
Yeah. No, right. I mean, it's just no. It's like Snapchat, like absolutely not. Okay. The fact that you can join enormous groups of people of up to 200,000 users, there's nothing good for kids in a group of 200,000 people online. No. Yeah. The app also features disappearing messages. Again, there's only a few reasons why messages need to disappear, none of which involve kids needing them. I'm going to quote from our blog because this is good, and I just can't take credit for it. To summarize, Telegram is like a Frankenstein of some of the scariest features of several different apps and social media platforms, making it uniquely unsafe for kids.
Uniquely unsafe. And that's saying something because there's a lot of unsafe platforms. Yeah. Okay. So Telegram is a no. Thank you for asking whoever submitted that one, but please don't let your child on Telegram.
No.
Okay. And the last one we're going to cover is ChatGPT. And ChatGPT is not recommended officially for kids under 13. That's by the platform itself. But ChatGPT is trained on a data set of text from the internet, which includes a wide range of content, including some of which may not be appropriate for children. And so officially, I'm going to say there are other options, which I'll be introducing to parents. There are other safer AI for children options that I will soon be introducing to parents. But I would say if you're going to let your child use this, it has to be with adult supervision at all times, not on their device, on your device only.
Exactly. I would really shy away from letting younger children use ChatGPT because honestly, it can just encourage laziness. Like, goodness gracious, they have the rest of their lives to let elements of AI do work for them. Please give them the ability to think critically and seek out information, research, and at least build those skills. If you let them use ChatGPT too early, they don't get to build those skills, and that's scary. Yeah. And yes, there are safer options out there, which I can't wait for you to cover because I would much rather my child use those versus ChatGPT.
Right. We want to give our kids access to technology that's safe and vetted. Currently, chatbots are getting fed bad data and putting out dangerous information or information that may be unsafe for that age group. And so whether it's a chatbot within Snapchat, My AI, or that you mentioned earlier, or the one on Instagram or ChatGPT, I would say don't rush into letting your kids use these. I hear from a lot of teachers that say kids cannot think. They think it's a waste of time because they can just look it up. So they don't think anymore and they don't critically think like you mentioned. And so we have to help them develop those skills and those brain waves to be able to think critically or they're not going to succeed in their life. And so give it time. Don't rush into these these unmoderated AI platforms. Wait till you hear about a new AI platform that I'm going to be trying and introducing to you. And there'll be more and more safe AI options coming out soon. So that is all we have for you today on our 10 submitted apps. And so if you have a question, listeners, if you have a question about a certain app, just message it to me. We'll get it on our list for another app review session. But again, you can go to bark.us, look for reviews on any of the apps that you are concerned about. And obviously, I recommend highly that you either get your kid a Bark phone or layer the Bark monitoring app on top of your other device, whatever you're using. Again, please get the Bark phone. And that will help you to monitor your kids' activity in the best way and get alerts if they come across any of the harmful things that could be available on any of these apps that they may try to get access to. So thank you, Titania, as always, for your time. I love chatting with you, and we will be back soon.
Same. Thank you, Nikki.